Heather, do you have copies of the agenda that I sent to?
I did not. I double checked to see the email, and you just mentioned to print this off.
Okay, but I thought Sarah was gonna print them off for us.
Yeah, she printed these off, but I didn't see that you wanted the minutes as well in the email.
Well, that was the intent.
Yeah, the minutes in the agenda.
Okay, well, then apologies for that. I thought Sarah was printing them. The only agenda item, well, we'll go through the whole list here, but the only agenda item I had was filling out the rest of the form. But let's go through the rest of it as well. So I guess I could call the meeting to order.
So order at 6:01.
Nice to see everyone. Happy New Year.
Nice to be
Happy
here.
New Year.
Yeah, happy New Year.
All right, that's our call to order. Committee members present, you've got a list there, Heather?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alice, Sabrina, you, Jean, Heather, myself, and Steve.
No one's missing. We're all here.
We have Catherine.
Oh,
Catherine.
Catherine's
Alright.
missing.
Oh, that's
Right.
right.
Okay, Catherine's missing.
And she's still on the board, correct?
As far as I know, yeah, I haven't spoken or heard from her for a little while, but I'm not sure if she does email that much.
I hear that she's, kind of like hard to get a hold of at times.
Yeah. Okay, others present, is your friend Jessica?
Yep. Non-resident.
Non-resident. Let's see, secretary's report, review of the last month's minutes, so that would be the November minutes, right?
Yes.
And let's see, I might have copies of that.
I sent them out back in November.
Right, and I put them in email,
Yes.
so I don't know if people had a chance to read them in the email. Hopefully people did get a chance to read.
I did read them in the email.
Yeah.
I would have printed them, but just like I didn't have a pen, my printer doesn't have a toner right now.
Well, same with ours. Ours is
My
kind of,
computer doesn't work.
Short.
yeah, ours is kind of low on something. Yeah, so it looks like I didn't,
And I double checked the email, and I'm like, okay, that's all he wants. Okay.
yeah, so that was my bad, I guess.
Because I know sometimes. you
Well,
come off that
I guess I'll still entertain a motion to accept them, hoping that people read them when they were attached to the email. I guess is-
I'll have to,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to
The November.
accept or people who read them.
Mhm.
And I'll second the motion.
Now, seconds, all in favor?
I,
Okay, so that is approved. Secretary's report in November. Communications, review of email or mail for the committee. Was there anything in our mailbox?
Nope.
Nothing, okay.
And I didn't hear anything from Sarah about anybody asking.
Yep, okay. Appointments is where we would meet with department heads that attended. I guess, I don't know, maybe the word isn't really getting out.
I did meet with the transfer station guys, and I have stuff for that.
Perfect, great. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So there's none of them here, but we all had a chance to talk with some of them. So that's kind of our big business. That's our business for today, is to hear what we learned. And so we have this draft here that we can fill out more. And so let's do that. So that this is our old business, which is to continue filling out this list. So Heather, you probably have a list of who said who they would talk to. So maybe you
Yes.
can kind of,
Did you print out the minutes? Do you have a copy of the minutes in front of you?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I know I was transfer station and
Yep.
Mitchell. He had vacation and stuff, so we're
Oh, no, I can pull it up on my computer.
I don't think-
working on a time to get together.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's do the agenda, November.
I can certainly pull them up.
Yeah, because I don't have signal. Plus, I didn't print them off. You think I would print them off? That would have been smart.
Well, it's probably fine. We can just go around and say what we learned.
Yeah.
So, Jeannie, do you want to start?
Sure.
You met with who?
I met with Rich down at the transfer
So
station.
transfer station, okay. What did you
Yes.
learn from them?
I was given a list of the equipment they have and how old it is.
Wow, perfect.
The biggest issue right now, is one of the trash compactors. It's 30 years old and they've had it relined before. I guess it needs to be fixed as soon as possible and possibly rebuilt.
What do they mean by reline?
I'm not sure. I think the, mechanical mechanisms get swapped out.
Okay. Is this the one that the trash goes into, or is it
Yeah.
cardboard, or the trash one?
I believe it would be the trash.
I'm not sure if it's the trash or the cardboard one that's been broken.
The
It's
cardboard
one
one
of
would
them.
be a baler. They would
And it
call
looks newer.
They would call it a baler, but the compactor is where you throw your trash.
Yeah,
And
no.
and it pushes, it's got a
Yeah,
it's got a
I think
piston.
that might be
So
one
I
of,
think that's
that's
what they're
probably what
talking
they're
about.
talking about.
Yeah, and there are two down there, there used to only be one,
Yeah,
and when we purchased the last one, we kept the old one, which is now 30 years old.
Oh,
So that the problem was when you only had one, there were some times when
It would be full.
it would be full, and what do you do with the trash?
Yeah.
It was a huge
I
problem.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so sometimes
'cause-
you'd have to haul air to the landfill to make sure that there was room for the next week's trash, so
Yeah.
two made it more efficient.
Okay.
yeah, because there was one that was October of 2001, and then there's another compactor in 2008. So I know there's the two for the trash, and then junk mail also gets compacted, not baled. And then I'm 90% sure the corrugated and plastic stuff is what they use the baler for.
Yep, I think that's right.
And then they have, each of the balers listed along with the forklift, the roll-off truck, and some additional dumpsters.
Great, well, it sounds like you got good information. So why don't you hold on to it for one more minute?
Okay,
And can you kind of tell us, so it sounds like what they did is they gave you a list of what we have and how old it is,
yes.
but did they necessarily say what needs to be replaced when?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we should fill into this form here, I guess.
Yep.
And if we fill it in, I can type it up and send it around. Okay, so go ahead and tell us.
Okay, so the one trash compactor,
Mhm. And did they tell you date needed?
as soon as possible
So as soon as possible.
was on that. And then
Estimated cost, do they have any cost?
they are working on that
Okay,
for
they're
me.
working on cost.
Yep.
Do they know anything about sources of financing?
Yes, there is grant funding available.
Do they kind of elaborate as to what that is?
It was through the state of New Hampshire, there were several grants. One was 20% reimbursement and another one was 30%. That was for equipment through the state of New Hampshire, Department of, Health,
Department of Health?
yep, for recycling.
Department of Health.
And then there was additional grant funding for buildings in specifically bathrooms. That was two other grants that are also.
They don't have a bathroom now, do they?
No, they just have a
Porta potty?
porta potty, that's it. But they could,
Are they?
They also use the bathroom in a town shed. They have the key.
Oh, okay.
Which is-
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't
They
realize
have
there was
to
one
walk
in
a
there.
little ways to get there, but yes, they do.
yeah.
So are they saying that a capital improvement is a bathroom?
It would, at some point, we do want to have them have their own lab facilities.
Maybe even an upgrade of their little building that they have.
Yeah, it will definitely cover an upgrade to the building.
Yeah,
Okay.
they upgrade to the building. The problem with the putting a toilet in there would be, I guess, the septic system.
Septic system?
Unless you do alternate, so you can actually get a composting toilet, or
I
you
don't
can
think
get,
a composting toilet would necessarily be a good idea there, but maybe.
but then there's also the incinerator toilets. as
Well, yeah, I was thinking more the incinerator, but if there's another septic close by too, they could always tie
That's a
in.
possibility too.
Yeah.
Okay, but,
There's options.
yeah, but the improvement is at some point down the road, did they say date needed?
Not so much for the building. I know the compactor was in as soon as possible.
Yes, okay, got that.
Um,
No date for the bathroom.
no,
Okay.
that's, We can.
And did
say
they talk
that's-
about finances, sources of finances or costs for that?
No, but there is the grant funding.
There is grant funding, okay.
Yep.
State,
State and federal.
state and
For the
federal.
bathroom?
Yep, for the bathrooms, any buildings, and equipment. There was state and federal funding for both.
Okay,
So
good.
quick question, I don't know if we know, is the recycling center in a flood zone?
No idea.
That's
I don't
like
think
a
it could
flood.
be.
The recycling center is in the zone where we're not allowed to construct anything permanent by the state.
Right,
Because
so,
the whole zone of where the
Isn't it
recycling center, it's built, it's over the old landfill. It's built over the old landfill, and that's why they have monitoring wells there. They have 4 monitoring wells, and there was a time in New Hampshire where you'd have to seal, we're on the list, we would have
Yep.
to seal the landfill.
Yep.
But they passed a RSA, or passed a law in Concord that said if you're less than 5,000 in population, you can forego that, provided that you put in monitoring wells and monitor the water. So we monitor the water twice a year.
Okay.
Somebody comes out, an
I
engineering
didn't know
company comes out, takes a test. Yeah, they found PFAS in it one year, and that turned out to be a pretty good scare.
Yeah.
So we have that, so we don't have a lot of room for construction there. Where the current building is, it might be okay there, but that's something that we need to check out.
That would need to be
You
investigated.
know, you go down to where the recycling building is, it gets pretty sketchy down there.
so I know with at least, the USDA grant, if the, ambulance was put in a flood zone, there would have to be certain mitigations that happen. So that's why I asked, is the recycling center in a floodplain? And if it is, we may or may not be able to get certain grants.
Yeah.
Or we might have to do more cost mitigated.
Its proximity to the Smith River, because it's right in the lowlands there. I don't know if you- It's funny how they put these,
Yeah.
dumps and landfills right
Yeah.
in the swamp. That
Yeah.
was the old way of doing it.
Mhm.
So we'd have to check that out. It may or may not.
Right.
I don't know for sure.
I don't think it is necessarily, because I don't think they would let you put a transfer station there, but who knows?
Yeah, like I said, those were the days, and those days are not
And
here
then
anymore.
how long has it actually been there?
It's been there a long time.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's one of my first memories of moving to Groton. We just threw the garbage over the,
And that's what your
Just
grandfather clause did.
Yeah,
It's like, it's already there, sure,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
it, but if
you know,
you,
Danbury,
Close it down.
Danbury 20 years ago had a huge problem with that. They had to dig theirs up.
yep,
Well,
yep, you have to
Okay.
play line.
all right, well, we're not gonna solve,
no.
how and what, we're making a list
Yes.
of what the requests are. What's next on the list, Jeannie?
Let's see, there are, 2 other trash compactors. One is the model 2450, 245-0.
45-0.
Yeah, and then
Compactor.
there's the other one from 2008 that's, number 845 HD.
45 HD compactor.
Yep. And then, we have the Blue Baler, which is 30 years old. I don't have a model on that one.
Okay, blue baler.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all 3 of these, they're saying, need to be replaced at some point in the future?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, did they give you dates, like when they were needed?
No, those we can phase in.
Okay,
Do
do we know anything about their estimated costs?
No, they are actually getting pricing
They're getting
right
pricing for
now.
that too?
Yep.
And similar state
And
grants?
federal grants, yep.
State and federal grants, okay.
And then the green baler, they got on August 3rd of 2005. That's a model 2300 HD, and that would be the same as the blue baler above.
Okay, and that was 2005, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
And then most recently is the yellow baler that we purchased used in 2023. some,
Hopefully.
yeah. And that would be the model number M60CB.
CB. So that one's probably not due to be replaced for a while, I think.
Correct. Next is the Toyota forklift. That was bought in November of '09. And that one is model number, I'm not sure about the first letter, but FG025. I think it might be a B, FBG, I'm not sure. but-
Okay. So that one's from 2009, and are they saying?
Correct. That will need to get replaced, but that can be done over time.
Are they saying it's in poor condition, or?
Yeah, it's starting to get a little old.
Okay.
And then, in 2005, they got an international model 5900 roll-off truck. And that was purchased used from Charlestown. That needs to get replaced, sooner than later.
And what year was that, you said?
2005, they
2005.
purchased it used.
So it's now 19 years old.
Yeah.
So soon.
That needs to get fixed really soon. I know they've had a lot of repairs on it, so I think we're getting to the point where it needs to get replaced because they've band-aided it as much as they could.
So that's the truck that they haul off the full dumpsters
Correct.
with? and-
Yep.
That's an important,
It
Very
seems like that's kind of
important
an
piece of
important thing.
equipment, yeah.
my opinion, that's way above the forklift.
Yeah, way above. Well, we need it really soon.
Okay.
I would say the roll-off truck and the,
30-year-old car.
getting the compactor fixed are the two most important.
Yes, okay.
And then we have 3 40-yard enclosed dumpsters.
That are in poor condition, or?
Yeah, well, it will need to get replaced
Do we have a sense of when
some
they
point.
need it?
It doesn't say,
Okay. But
right
someday in
away.
the future.
Yep. There's another 4 40-yard open top dumpsters,
4 of them?
4 of those. And the total cost to replace all 4 was, 35,000.
35,000. 35,000.
And then,
Sorry, these were open versus the other ones which were closed?
correct.
So these are open,
Yep.
these are closed. Okay,
And then the last thing is a 30-yard open top dumpster, and that needs to get replaced, soon.
30-yard open dumpster.
Yep.
Did they say what it's used for?
No, I'm not sure on that
That's
one.
30-yard open dumpster. They need it as soon as possible?
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely something that we need to replace sooner than later.
And did they have a cost, you said?
Not on the 30-yard, he was
Not on
working
that
on
one,
that, yep.
Okay. Do you have something else?
No, that is
That's
it.
that's a good, nice thorough list that they gave you.
Yes, he did an excellent job, yes.
Thank you. I can include that and type that up. Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe if you can, you're gonna type it up?
Yeah, type it
Oh,
up.
perfect,
include
then
it.
I'll have a little bit more thorough, I
The
took,
minutes will be a little bit longer, but it's
Yeah,
nice to have
I
that.
took kind of
Yeah,
paraphrased notes, so it'd be nice to have.
And this is for the transfer station.
yeah.
Yeah, people who like to read the minutes will like to see all that information.
Yeah,
So
sure,
that'll be good.
sure.
As long as I don't have the letter head on every single page.
Right, save some space.
Yeah, hold the letterhead.
Yeah. All right, Jeannie, did you talk to other folks? That was-
I was I'm in the process of getting a hold of Mitchell. He had vacations and stuff, so we're gonna coordinate
Okay.
a time and do
So
the
that's police.
police next. Yep.
Yeah. So Heather, maybe we could just make a note, for
Yep.
the minutes and say, police to be,
And I actually found my written notes, so.
oh, nice, okay, great.
Jean
So
will
to
follow up.
police to be determined.
And Jean, you also had, the cemetery.
Yeah, I think we had talked about that already. I think I had, yeah, I think we had already given that information, I thought, because we had talked about the only real big thing that would be really expensive was the replacement of the stone wall in some of the historical stones that like need to get done by professionals. Everything else was under the threshold.
All right, so I don't think I have that written, so I'll write it. Cemetery. And that was stone wall
Yep, stone wall repairs.
at which cemetery?
I can't remember which one. I think it's
Right on Route 4.
Grafton Center there, right
Grafton
on Route
Center,
4.
yes.
Yep,
Grafton
Grafton
Center. Right on Route 4.
Center.
And then, to further explain the replacing the cemetery stones, a lot of the old stones are knocked over or broken. And there's actually a whole process of actually replacing them and gluing, and you actually have to bring in equipment. I've actually seen a whole bunch of reels on it, it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But they're so heavy, you can't just lift them up and sit them up and glue it.
So that's a separate capital improvement.
Correct, yeah.
That's being recommended.
Yep.
So we'll call that repair of tombstones?
Yeah.
Headstones, tombstones,
Headstone.
because that's completely separate from cleaning. Cleaning, we have wonderful volunteers.
Repair.
Yeah. Fixing requires blocking tackles and cement and all that good
And
stuff.
do we have a cost for either of those things?
Not yet.
No.
No,
And
'cause
date
it's,
needed?
I think we said like 5 years.
Yeah, it's
For both?
when the money's there, yeah. The stone wall needs fixing, but it's the money that, has to come up. I think, former trustee looked in for the stone wall itself, and it was like 10 grand.
Mhm,
Because you
okay.
actually have to shut down 4, and then you have the equipment coming in and all that other fun
Okay.
stuff, or one-way traffic.
All right, so that's cemetery. Anything else for cemetery?
I think that was it. We
Okay.
really didn't have anything else.
All right, thanks very much. Steve, you had somebody?
Yeah, I had the highway, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
I don't know who else I had. I had the highway, and I believe I had the selectmen.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
did
if I
you
did.
learn something about the highway?
Yeah, every day's a learning experience there.
Mhm.
They probably have a fairly long list.
And you have selectmen and highway.
Yeah, yeah, they do have a long list, and,
All right,
you know, all these items are very expensive. You know, I didn't get prices because I don't want to price things out that I know we're not getting right now. But I have a list of what they have, so all that's got to go into the replacement. And I could say the most, according to the road agent, his opinion, the most pressing item that they need to replace would be on the top of the list, and that's their Ford F-250 pickup truck. It's a 2013. When purchased, it was $28,800. So it was $29,000, and Jeff estimates it'll be on the north side of $80,000 to replace.
yep, that's what trucks cost these days.
Number,
And so, date needed, it sounds like really soon.
well, this one, he says, yeah, he says they need it right away. So I said, why didn't you put an article on the warrant to? Because he thought he had to the end of the month.
So 1 year,
So I'd say, yeah, it's got to replace, well, you know, depends what happens, but we do have a capital reserve that we are agents to expend, so we'll see how things go.
this is the one that they plow with, right?
It's the small one.
It's the small
Yeah,
plow.
and they do plow, yeah, in small areas with it, and they
Mm.
use it for hauling things around, you know, the pickup truck is very handy.
Very versatile,
Yeah,
right.
very versatile. It's easier to drive that than it is, you know, one of these 6-wheelers
big-
or
the
10
big
big
ones,
guys,
right.
so you can't do that. And
Yeah,
then
they just need the truck, not the
they
plow
just
setup.
need the truck, yeah. And let's see, number 2 would be, the 2005 John Deere backhoe.
That one was already on our list. Yes, that,
Was
oh, that, it just is backhoe, but
Yeah, well, that's what it is. When it was originally purchased, it was 79,000, and that was 20 years ago, so, what do you do at it?
150.
Yeah, it's around 150,
I'd say it's about 150 or so.
but we qualify for that awesome equipment auction in upstate New York that's not that far away.
okay.
Well, that might be interesting. I need to learn more about that. Number 3
Mhm.
would be the roadside mower. That's probably on there already too.
It is, yep.
Yeah, we
So mow's the very first thing on our list.
Yeah,
I'll put it in roadside.
roadside mower.
I'll sort and organize.
Yeah.
Roadside mower.
And then I'm going to go down through the list.
Sorry, how old is the roadside mower now?
The roadside mower, well, actually, the roadside mower doesn't exist anymore. It's kaput.
Oh, okay.
We junked it.
It's the
We
blue
don't even
Ford.
own it anymore. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just, so, we bought it used back in, well, it wasn't 94, we bought it used sometime before 2010,
Mhm.
and now it's seen its day. Number 3, the next one on the list, I don't know if it's number 3 or number 4, would be the loader. It's a 1993 John Deere loader. That went for, at that time, $100,000. So I'd say now it's a couple hundred
Two.
thousand.
Yeah, 2 to 250.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. And then I'm gonna go through the list.
Let's see, put 1, 2.
Steve, you're numbering them on your paper, correct?
No,
Okay. So I can take that.
yeah, I'll try.
They are
One,
not,
two,
they are
three.
numbered, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Let's
or
see.
1, 2, 3 are numbered.
This was, the Ford was 1. This was 2, and that's 3, okay. Did I give you 4 items?
I have 4. I have the
Okay, so-
Ford F-250,
okay,
the John
so
Deere, the
number-
roadside mower, and the loader.
Number 5 would be the, it's tough, some of these things are a little tricky because we don't know what's gonna happen, so some of the order might change as things go along.
Mhm.
So I can give you my best estimate. Next one would be the 2014 International. It's a 6-wheeler, it's a dump truck. It went for $84,900 or $85,000, and that's probably $185 to replace. Maybe I'm low on that, I don't know. So that's number 5,
Oh, sorry, how much replacement cost?
180 estimate, yeah. And this might have happened since our last meeting, I don't know, but we had a 2010 International 6-wheeler that was on its last legs, and so we traded it in for a 2011 Freightliner. So I'm gonna put the Freightliner as number 6, because it is old. And so I would say the replacement cost would be the same as the one before.
Maybe.
And then I will go to
Sorry, how old is the Freightliner?
Freightliner's a 2011.
21.
Yeah, so it's old.
Yeah.
You might notice it out there because it's the only one that's yellow. We have a yellow truck
Mhm.
from Hartford, Vermont, to Vermonter. The next on the list would be the 2016 International truck. It's a 10-wheeler, it's a big guy. And right after that would be another 2016 International truck, and it's a 10-wheeler. And, that one cost $175 new, so these must be $275. $275 each to replace those. And, these trucks, I guess they take a beating, they're due for replacement. We have an International dump truck that's a 2022. So, but I'm not gonna put that one next, I am gonna put that, the 2022 International dump truck, that's another 6-wheeler, so that's another one that's 185.
Yeah,
6-wheel. And that one's, you said 180?
Yeah. And then the last piece of heavy equipment they have is the 2015 Caterpillar grader, which I just got this past year, used.
Mhm.
Put it on the bottom of the list. I mean, graders last a long time. I don't know how long that will last, but we bought it used. We bought it used 9 years old, and it was $191,000. So if we went and bought a new one, 400.
Yeah.
Easily.
If we were to put dates, the date needed on these, are we able to guess that, or do we want to hold off on that for now?
Well, we can guess.
All right, so how about number 2, John Deere 2005?
Wait a minute. John Deere 2005. What number is that? That's a number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, and so we have that number 1. I would say that should be replaced in 2026.
Pretty soon.
Yeah,
Number 3 is the roadside mower.
20. See, this is where it gets hard,
So we don't have one.
Well, we don't have one, right?
and we need one.
And
So
we need
I
one.
mean,
ASAP.
that one might be, we might need to replace
2025.
replace that one this year. That
This
might move, kick it up a notch. We have these, we have the pickup truck there. Yeah, you're gonna have to put the roadside mower as number 2, except when we start building these things up, there's no way that's gonna happen.
Right.
So I'm being unrealistic by putting it up so, high on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think our job is to gather the information, share the information, and then, I guess I don't know
By-
exactly
By
what
the
happens
time,
after
by the time
that.
it gets worked into a plan, I would say that these, I don't know how it will pan out, because the town's only got so much money to
Right.
spend.
Right.
Right.
But I would say every year, for the next
Something's
10 years, we
gotta
need
get
to
done.
buy
There's
something
a piece of
big.
equipment, there's a piece
Yeah,
of equipment.
and so, but they're so costly. I just can't imagine what they're gonna do to the tax rate if we went and did that.
Kind of circling back, and I don't know if you're going to talk about the selectmen, but maybe it's actually considering a professional grant writer that actually knows how to do grants.
That's that's one possibility that could be explored.
I mean,
there
I
might be
did get a
grants
grant,
out
but I'm
there.
not a professional grant writer.
Right, and we've had grant writers come and looking for work at us before, and I know they've gone to other towns and
Yeah,
with mixed results, but you never know, you get somebody who knows how to do it, you might be able to get that.
because there would be.
But I found in my 20
grant
years,
funding
it's
under
easy to say to get a
NTSB
grant,
and
it's
stuff.
quite another thing to get one. You
Right.
go to town meetings, we need these things, well, why didn't you just get a grant? Okay. But if we found somebody who was very good at writing grants, it would be a good investment for the town to do
Or even
that.
like a committee, like have that one person do it, and instead of just having him or her do it by themselves, have like someone come in and help, because it's definitely a team effort.
Yeah.
Can we put estimated dates on the rest of them? Like number 4, the loader, 1993 loader?
Okay,
Or would we rather not?
well, we can, but I don't know how realistic they'll be, but I guess a date's
Well-
better than no date.
But you know what this equipment is because you met
Yeah.
with them, and so you have a pretty good sense of like how much longer it's gonna
If it
last.
was up to them, they'd take them all and
Sure.
and cash them in this year.
Sure,
So, we're at number 4, the
Yeah.
loader,
yeah.
and so I would say, and what year are we at? We're at 2027?
Yeah, so I'd say 2028.
Okay,
Yeah, 2028. Then this is where we're gonna run into the problem, so number 5's at.
the
for
international
Yeah,
6-wheeler,
okay, 2029.
2029.
And then the next one, the Freightliner.
Yep.
2030.
2030.
And then,
The 2016 international, number 7.
yeah, that's number 7. I almost forgot to number these. I don't want to do that. That would be, what year are we on?
2030.
2030, yeah.
2031. And that's for the 10-wheeler?
Next one is the other
We
10-wheeler.
want to do that in 2032. And what's after that?
The 2022 international 6-wheeler, number 9.
2032.
So that one's hopefully,
That one's fairly new.
that one's only
Yeah,
2 years
well,
old.
Yeah, well, why don't we take a couple of years off? What year are we in, 2032? Want to go 2034? And then with the cat, want to
The
go
Cat, great.
2036? 2036.
So that one's in decent shape right now? I
Well,
thought
this is the first year we had it, and and the old one that we got rid of,
that was the
was-
terrible one.
was in such bad shape that this seems like a Cadillac. So it's working fine right now, and let's hope it continues to do so.
They certainly get used hard, I'm sure.
They get used hard, and the idea is to keep them on the road all the time, because there's nothing worse than having washboard roads and you drive by the town shed and the grader's sitting out there and nobody's
Yeah.
using it, to talk about that.
I'm sure they
how
hear
that
about
gets under people's skin.
Yeah, I'm sure they hear about it.
Yeah, they
And
did.
a lot of it too comes down to like regular maintenance. Maintenance is
Some
so
of that-
important with that stuff.
You know, and you're right, and they don't have like a full-time mechanic there.
No,
And that's a serious issue that we have, because, you know, all this stuff is heavy equipment, and there's some repairs, simple repairs that they do themselves, but if they get to anything serious, it's gotta go to the shop. You know where the shop is?
Yeah, that's not easy.
It's in Claremont.
Yeah,
It's
that's not
Reed's.
easy.
It's Reed's in Claremont.
Yeah.
So like just getting
because you
it
need
there.
That means
a
hiring somebody to
diesel
pick it up.
mechanic,
You
they
blow-
got a weld.
You blow 2 man-days getting it
Sure.
there.
Yeah,
And then it costs a fortune. So yeah, getting a mechanic
That might be cost effective.
yeah.
might be cost
Someone
effective.
who's certified, so it doesn't, because if we buy brand new
I-
equipment, we
I
don't
have-
wanna void the warranties.
The warranty you would still have to live up to, but these go out of warranty. Yeah, you wanna make sure that if we have to bring it to the shop, we can. I happen to know somebody who's a really good mechanic, so maybe we'll see what happens, but that idea is floating around of getting mechanic. They also need, now that I'm thinking about it, and Jeff didn't bring it up to me lately, but they need a new furnace down there too.
I think I have that on the.
Is that in there?
Town shed boiler, oh, furnace at highway garage.
Yep,
Yeah, so, somebody brought that up, could have been me.
It could have been you.
Probably.
Is that an urgent thing? Date needed?
You know, I would say they need it this year.
yeah, 2025
Yeah.
before, then
Before
next
they-
year's cold nasty.
Yeah, before they don't have one, and that would be a disaster down there. And so how much does it cost to replace a furnace?
You're looking
About
at,
10,
yeah,
about 10,
about
10 to
10,000.
12.
Between 10 and 15.
12, yeah, we priced one out for the East Grafton Church, it was, I think, 12 or something like that.
Plus, I mean, thank God they get the GSA pricing and stuff like that, so that does help. And I know the different groups have rebate stuff to
Mhm.
make it even cheaper. Like if you go to a mini split, they'll give you
Right,
so
there is
much
utility
money
incentive
back.
money, yep.
So that's what they have, and you know, like I say, it's very difficult to estimate what's gonna happen, because they have to go with the flow. Like, 6 months ago, we didn't know we were gonna get rid of a 2010 International dump truck and get a used Freightliner in, and a used Freightliner. I don't think any of you were around, when was this about? It was only about 19 years ago or so that we bought a used Freightliner and ended up getting a lot of egg on our face. So I really didn't want to do this, but like, you don't have any
The
choice.
no option
Right.
option.
And you have no option, so we have no issues with what we bought that I know of, and hopefully that it will continue that way.
Exactly.
So we've got roofs on the buildings down there, the buildings are in pretty good shape outside of the furnace. And I did say that the bathroom, the recycling center, the transfer station uses their bathroom down there too.
Mhm.
But that isn't without issues either.
Okay,
There's been spats over that in the past.
Hmm.
And the porta potty out there is basically not really it's not a good idea.
No.
It's awful,
Not
if you
at
ask
all.
me.
Nope.
You know, and the record, you know, I don't wanna get into it, but yeah.
okay, anything else for highway?
Not at the moment,
Okay.
that's enough for now.
You talked to the selectmen, and you have a list from the selectmen.
I've talked to Sarah, just Sarah and me have talked about it. You know, and that selectmen's a difficult thing too, because we're responsible for everything in town. And some of the things that we'd like to do, you know, for example, this building needs
Yeah.
improvements.
Serious
I mean, they painted the walls in here and it looks really nice. Ever notice that wall down there is like,
Oh yeah, it's totally crooked. In the floor, someone's gonna
and the floor.
break their neck and
The floor
sue us
keeps
to death.
buckling up.
Okay, so is town hall a capital improvement?
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah.
say it is, yeah.
Okay.
Any municipal buildings.
Any municipal buildings, that's absolutely right.
And so there's $10,000 worth of repairs or upgrades needed
Oh,
to town hall?
easily.
Do you know how much it take, just to do the, because we've started on this.
Just
You know,
the floors.
This past year,
10 or 15.
this past year, we did the sills. We raised that end up and we fixed the sills and replaced the sills. The next step was going to be to deal with the buckling floor, and that was a moisture problem, so we're gonna put a vapor seal in there.
Mhm.
$50,000.
Right.
And that's just taking care of that. That's not really doing the floor. It would keep the floor from buckling. And
Yeah.
then we could worry about,
For
doing something with the floor.
the record, when was the building built?
I don't know. Long time ago.
1800s? Like, is it a
Maybe.
historical building?
It's a historical, it's a registered historical building.
Which
It is on the
have
register.
its own
I
issues.
believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Because
We-
also,
sometimes
and
you're
there's
limited.
some, I don't even want to get into what's going on with this building, but there's certain people in town that feel that they have
Personal stake.
have a personal stake in the building, so there's a little bit of that going on. And then there's certain people in town who think they know everything.
and
And
it is,
so that plays into how things get done.
Sure.
Right now, we've had one person who's kind of like overseeing what's going on, and it's worked out fairly well, until we got to the $50,000 question, which we didn't have. We have a capital reserve for town hall repairs, but not to the tune of 50, and we've applied for grants before, but we haven't had luck with the grants.
Okay.
New Hampshire for this building.
Did Sarah say, or did the selectmen say, other buildings need improvements as well?
Yeah, well, we have the issue with the parsonage.
Parsonage? What's the?
Well, the parsonage is on the same piece of property as the church. I don't know if you know the story about the parsonage, and there was an article on last year's warrant where we were gonna sell the parsonage
Oh, yeah.
for an agreed upon price, that a agreed upon assessor would give us the price.
Mhm.
That whole deal's fallen through because the price of that was far more than the person who petitioned that
Yeah,
on
wanted to pay.
wanted to pay. And then he came back with an offer of half that. And
So the town still owns it,
town still owns it. We put a tarp over the half of the roof so it doesn't leak anymore.
so roof,
But it needs a roof.
Okay.
It needs it needs an assessment,
Yeah.
basically, to see
Why are
what do we want to do first. And,
Do we
that-
have to fix it?
yeah.
What do we
keep
use it
Because
for?
Well,
town-
that's
town
what I'm
use it for.
saying, can we knock it to the
Uh,
ground? Because
Well, no, that's,
fixing it all is
yeah,
so
well-
expensive.
it is, but it's a pretty, that building was assessed at $80,000. I'd hate to rip down $80,000 because we don't have another 80 to fix it.
Yeah,
I'd
true.
rather sell it.
Well,
Yeah.
what do we use it for?
We don't use it for anything. Right now, it's just, it's no,
It's
there's,
condemned, right?
nobody's allowed in
Yeah.
there, yeah. But it's not condemned, but it's not safe.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not safe.
so the town wants to keep it and the town wants to fix it?
Well, we haven't decided exactly what we want to do with it. I have my opinions because it's on the same property as the East Grafton Church.
Mhm.
When we have, in my view, the East Grafton Church really is a lovely building, and it might be one of our most valuable buildings that the town has, outside of the fire
So the
station.
town owns the church too?
The town owns the
Yeah.
church, and we
Yep.
lease it to the Historical Society. But basically, nothing happens in there. It's needed a furnace in there for a long time.
Can't be used in the winter.
So it can't be used in the winter, has a terrible moisture problem, moisture buildup in there. So it definitely needs work, and for what purpose does it serve the town?
Yeah, because there's no,
That the town's gonna
yeah.
keep it? Somebody said, well, somebody knows somebody who might be interested in renting the parsonage and then having services in the church. Well, that'd be great if they bought it.
Yeah,
I don't think the town should support a church and its
right.
no,
pastor
You
and
can't.
whatever.
no, because of
So,
separation of church and state, you can't.
Absolutely. It's something that we need to talk to and bring to the town and decide whether the town really wants to keep that building.
Yeah,
It almost feels to me like it's maybe part of like a master plan sort of exercise, like
yeah,
Is
because they
that
need
belong
to
to you?
figure out what they're gonna do with it and then
do you
go
serve,
from
when
there.
when the planning board gets around to doing the master plan update,
Which they won't. That's-
maybe
it's not
that's a
happening
question,
anytime
you know,
soon.
maybe that's a survey question, is what's your opinion about?
How old is the, master plan?
I
The
think
one
it's
we have
87.
From the 80s.
Yeah, it's 87 or so.
All right, so I know that the planning board is in 15 minutes, so I just want to
Yeah,
kind of.
okay, so another thing from the select board?
Yep.
That's from the office? I mean, I can go out about other things, but I think that's some of the major things, is we're in need of some financial software. Right now, we're using QuickBooks, only because we can't afford
Anything else?
anything else.
I would recommend stay for the love of God away from Munis. It is horrible.
Well, I would take your word for that. I've never heard of it before, but
Is there
that's
a
good enough for me.
recommendation from our treasurer?
There's a recommendation from our administrative assistant, and she probably has talked to the treasurer,
Right.
their buddies, and she said they were looking at something called Edmunds Government Tech, and that's $14,000
Mhm.
is the estimate on that.
So Edmund, as in the name Edmund, EDMUNDS,
Yeah,
and government, what was the whole name?
technology.
And you said,
If I got the name wrong, don't hold me to it, but something like that.
and you said 14,000?
$14,000.
And is that a one-time payment?
Yeah,
It's a one-time payment.
and then I don't know
Then
about
you
upgrades.
Probably have,
Like a
fees after
yearly.
that. They make it.
Is there a date needed?
When you put 2020, this is 25, put 26,
Okay, what else?
because obviously we're too late to do anything in
Yeah.
January. 26 is the earliest we can.
It's all right, wait until you see the law enforcement software. I'm gonna puke.
I'm not gonna like it.
Other things from Sarah or the selectmen?
That's all I have for.
Okay. Okay,
I have notes, please.
You want that?
Any other
all right, so I reached out
I
to
can give it back to you if
Bonnie.
you want.
I reached out to Bonnie, but I didn't get any response from Bonnie.
And that's for town clerk and,
Yeah, for town
Yes.
clerk, and I didn't get any response from her, so I'm not sure. I'll try again.
Well, she needs a bigger office, but you can't put that, I mean, the town could use facilities that would work out better, but
I
that's
think we
part-
talked
that's part
about
of this guy.
before, we talked about, did we say, there was something controversial, like replace the town office, right?
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah,
big
we were
controversial
thinking
thing?
about
That's
like
what we
a
do, yeah.
municipal building to just
Yeah.
kind of put like a bunch of stuff in one spot and keep construction costs down.
So if I call it town office upgrade / replace?
Yeah,
for notes, do we want that underneath the town tax collector, or is the town offices underneath select?
I'd say that's under selectmen.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
logical. Okay, do we have a sense of when that should happen?
That's like the
Yeah,
way
I'd
out,
say,
pie in the sky.
yeah, I'd say that's gotta be 10 years from now.
10 years from now, so. 3, 4.
Since we only have a few moments left, can
Yep.
we use them to plan what's gonna happen at our next meeting?
Sure, we've got 10 minutes. And did you both get a chance to talk to whomever you?
I talked to the library and they don't see anything that they need right now.
Okay, so library, nothing. Well, that makes that one easy. I'm just gonna say library 0. They don't want a new library?
Yeah, they are
Let's
all
not go
set
there.
and not going near it ever again.
Right. Okay, so library, I'll say none.
And mine is typed down on the bottom.
Oh, right, I added it to
Rec
here.
department.
From Ed Grinley, drainage system for the rec field and a structure for the playground, future. So the drainage system for the rec field, he said immediate, or needs as soon as possible.
Yes.
So, a note for the structure of the playground, Lions International has grants, and that's actually something that we would support. So,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would, suggest looking at,
Oh, for the playground.
grants and stuff and see if there's any
There's
local
tons of stuff.
companies or agencies that would support doing a playground.
That's logical.
Those are easy to get, especially if they're adaptive.
I would recommend him reaching out to Keenan Lions, actually.
Sabrina, can you elaborate a little bit on maybe what the drainage system for the rec field? Did he describe that at all, or what's the issue? Aside from the ducks that swim in it at times. But it's kind of obvious, but.
He didn't give me any background. I assumed that they have trouble with water.
Yeah, I've seen